Porn Reboot Basics. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Let's break them down. I have 6 basics for you in this video. They are organized into 3 and 3. So first I'm going to cover the first 3 basic foundational factors that you need to address to actually be successful in putting a pornography habit behind. Then I'm going to dive into the other 3 factors, and as you can imagine, they work synergistically together. It's not that 3 are more important than the other, they go together. So let's dive in, because at the end I'm going to give you your brain tip for the day, and it is going to help you move forward after you understand these basics. Okay, basics number 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is past, present, and future thinking. And we need to address the things that are in your nervous system, possibly buried in your nervous system from the past. Then we need to address how you're using your brain right now in the present. And we need to create future goals for you to anchor into so you can find your why and get on purpose. So, pragmatically speaking, what does that look like? Let me tell you. When we're thinking about your past, we know from the science that many times when people are drawn to a pornography habit, it is because there is some trauma or dysfunction that was occurring in their life at the time that they found sexuality in general, but pornography or masturbation specifically. So go back to that time when you started the habit and think about what was happening in your life. And think if there's anything that was traumatic or dysfunctional that might have created rigidity in your brain pattern. So I know trauma is a loaded word, and I always use it in air quotes because people don't know that what trauma really means is that something happened to you that your nervous system could not handle processing. And like Bessel van der Kolk's book says, the body keeps the score. Trauma will stay in your body, and it will stay in your brain as a rigid brain pattern that does not have as much neuroflexibility as we would like it to have, because we're going to use neuroplasticity to take your brain out of the pattern that it's in right now and to have it use a better pattern in the near future and then forever. So you need to figure out if there's anything that happened to you that is holding that brain pattern in this just stuck mode. And we need to unstick it to help you move forward. That's the past. And I have exercises in my short course, just a beginner exercise for you to use. People have emailed me that exercise alone has been just magnanimous for them to be able to get over this habit. So if you haven't checked out the short course, that might be a good fit for you for right now. Okay, so present. What we're talking about in the present is how you use your brain on a daily basis. And this is going to lead you to your brain tip at the end. But I want you to think about how you're living your life. Is it the life that you want to live? People don't understand. We can literally live the lives that we want to live. So many people aren't. They're in jobs that they hate. They're in relationships that they don't like. They don't have any hobbies. And I ask them what they like to do, and they literally can't come up with one thing. Their life has become drudgery. Guess what a life of drudgery will lead to? It will lead to a need for escape, because your life is creating pain and stress and anguish and doesn't have very much that creates happiness and pleasure. So you need to seek it out from external modes, aka pornography and masturbation. So when you change your life in the present so that you love your life, there's much less need to escape it. So I want you to think about, what's the stuff in your life that you like? And then keep it. What's the stuff in your life that you don't like? Then contemplate ditching it. And you don't have to ditch it overnight. Make a plan to ditch it. Make a plan to make those aspects better. When you make the plan, and especially if you take a tiny action step towards it, what you'll find is that your life will begin to get better. And when I coach people and I come back on, we do it over Zoom, I come back on and I'm like, did you do the things we talked about? And they are there with a smile and looking so much better than they did 2 weeks ago. I know they're taking those action steps toward creating the change in their life that they want and they deserve, and they didn't think they had the strength to do. And when you find the strength to do that, you create a new version of yourself. So the way that I think about that is I call it a toleration. What are the things that I'm tolerating in my life? Not things that I love and I enjoy. What am I tolerating? And then I make a plan so I'm no longer tolerating it. And we'll do that in your brain tip in just a minute. What you need, though, to create a new brain pattern is the right tools. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too, but just think about that. Okay, and then the future is set some goals. When I work with people in coaching, I give them 10 different categories, actually I think it's 12, different categories to dig in and make goals in their life, and then find the 1 or 2 goals that are most important. You can engage in an exercise like that. If you don't want to work with me, look up goal setting online and set some goals for your life. It anchors you into the future. Getting rid of the trauma in the past, creating a beautiful life in the present, and figuring out where you want to go. That is how you leave habits that are dragging you down behind. Okay, so now let's talk about what are the other 3 factors. They are unwire, rewire, and hardwire in a new brain pattern. So this one isn't rocket science, but it's neuroscience, is that you have to unwire the brain pattern that is pulling you back for more and more pornography and masturbation. The way you do that, you leave the habit behind, and you have to leave both those habits behind if you are engaging in them, because you don't want to flood your system with these feel-good neurochemicals, because then you're going to feel like junk in the real world. You have to create balance by leaving the pattern behind that is pulling you back for more and rewiring your brain in the present. Now, the proper tools and strategies that you need are the brain training headband, especially if you're in deep, because when you use the headband 5 minutes a day, you engage in neuro meditation. So you can use the brain training headband if you have it or if you're interested in getting it. 5 minutes a day, it'll generate a graph of your brain performance and you'll see your brain improving. If you don't want to get the brain training headband, start meditating, and it will be very, very powerful for you. And I'm going to give you a great tip on meditation in another video that I'm making on unwiring, rewiring, and hardwiring, my favorite meditation technique. So look for that video. Okay, so that's how you rewire your brain in the present. Now, how do you hardwire that pattern in? You use all the tools and techniques to rewire your brain, and then you create a schedule and routines and a life that you love, and that will hardwire in the new, better brain pattern that you're creating in these moments. That's how the brain pattern hardwires in. You change the way that you live your life, and it's comprehensive and synergistic, and it all works together. Okay, so this is your brain tip for today. If you have a journal, get your journal out. So many people are getting journals, and it's really exciting. Get your journal out and literally write a list of things that you love about your life. Now write a list of the things that you don't like about your life. Now take that list and in another column, write one thing that you could do to change all of the things you don't like. Now you'll have a very pragmatic action step list that you can do. Some of them might be big and some of them might be small. So like if you don't like your partner or your spouse, it doesn't mean you leave your partner or your spouse. It means you fix your relationship, or at least you start working on it. You take your partner out to dinner and try to reconnect. And you're moving in the right direction of figuring that out. So it can be a baby step, but it will help you, and it's going to help your brain move towards solution instead of escapism and numbing from the parts of your life that you don't like. So then start doing some of those action steps. Totally practical. Start taking action. It will help you. Okay, if you want help in this journey, please reach out to me at drtrishleigh.com. I'm here for it. I would love to be able to help you with my programs and with coaching, because I want you to be able to control your brain so it doesn't control you. Let's do it.